A very good morning to sir and fellow friends. Today, I would like to present about the differences between asset-backed and asset-based and what is the consequences to the ownership of the asset if sukuk default. There are two main types of sukuk that are currently being practiced, which are asset-based sukuk and asset-backed sukuk. Asset-based sukuk are a type of business venture that involve full recourse to the originator or issuer but not to the asset. Asset-backed sukuk are a type of business venture that is fully shipped to the special purpose vehicle with elements of a true sales. Investor of asset-based sukuk only attains beneficial ownership. They do not attain real ownership of the asset, while the one in asset-backed sukuk have full transfer of legal ownership of the underlying asset. Besides, the income source for the asset-based sukuk holder usually comes from the issuer cash flow. The income source for the asset-backed sukuk holder is the revenue from the underlying sukuk assets. For asset-based sukuk, the funding cost is market-driven, which depending on originator or credit issuer. Contrary, for asset-backed sukuk, the funding cost is capital-driven, which depending on the strength of the asset cash flow. Next, asset-based sukuk can default because it was structured to replicate conventional bond, while asset-backed sukuk cannot default because it did not have that structure. Moreover, the accounting treatment for asset-based sukuk is usually designed as on-balance sheet for obligor or originator. This treated like a debt, not true sales of the underlying asset by originator to the sukuk investor. In contrast, the accounting treatment for asset-backed sukuk can either be on or off balance sheet for obligor or originator. This is treated like a true sale which have legal and off-balance sheet criteria. For asset-based sukuk, the purchase undertaking apart from obligor is the ultimate recourse. The recourse is only to obligor if there is a shortfall in payments and not the asset. Instead, asset-backed sukuk holders only have recourse to asset thus asset play genuine role in defaults. Next, I'll move on to the consequences to the ownership of the asset if sukuk default. Asset-based sukuk grant only beneficial ownership to the sukuk holders, so that in case of default, the investor would be left without any claim on this asset. In this structure, the originator typically transfer to the investors only the beneficial ownership of the SPV issuer. But Sharia stipulates a transfer of asset to sukuk holders. However, since investors have no recourse to the assets, the structure does not pay any attention to the asset risk, but rather concentrates on the creditworthiness of the sponsor of the sukuk. If the issuer defaults, the sukuk holders will only have limited right of disposal because they will be required to sell the asset, if any, to the issuer. By contrast, none of the asset-backed sukuk defaulted. The reason was that the asset-backed sukuk did not have a debt structure. All asset-backed sukuk, unlike their asset-based counterparts, were structured to share profits and losses rather than replicate bonds. Originators of asset-backed sukuk did not promise investors profits whose quantum and due datas were determined in advance. In the event the issuer was to default or become insolvent, the note holders would be able to recover their exposure by taking control of and ultimately realizing the value from the asset. That's all from me. Thank you.